Today, we are delighted to have as our commencement speaker, Victoria County Judge Ben Zeller. Mr. Zeller was elected Victoria County Judge in 2014 as one of the youngest county judges in Texas. Before that, he worked in the financial sector at Wells Fargo Bank and Texas Dow Employees Credit Union. Judge Zeller graduated magna cum laude in 2005 from the University of Houston, Victoria, with a Bachelor of Business Administration. In 2009, he earned a Master of Business Administration from Texas A&M University, San Antonio. Both universities have recognized his accomplishments. UHV named him its 2018 Young Alumnus of the Year, and Texas A&M San Antonio awarded him its inaugural Distinguished Alumni Award. Judge Zeller serves on the boards of the County Judges and Commissioners Association of Texas, the Texas I-69 Alliance, and the Victoria Economic Development Corporation. He is also a member of the Governor's Task Force on Infectious Disease Preparedness and Response, and he's a member of the Victoria Rotary Club. He and his wife, Jamie, have been married for 10 years and have 3 young children. We were extremely pleased and honored when Judge Zeller accepted our invitation to the spring commencement speaker. Please join me in welcoming him this morning.
Thank you so much. What an honor it is to be here to share this special day with you and to relive the day in 2005 when I walked this stage as a proud UHV graduate. It's really good to be back. I want to recognize and thank some folks who have made today's commencement possible. To President Glenn, who is not able to join us today, to the distinguished deans and faculty whose dedicated work makes these commencements possible, to your families here today who have made so many sacrifices to see you succeed, and of course to you, the students who have studied and toiled and persevered. Congratulations. The day has arrived. It will now be time to pursue even greater dreams. But first, we need to celebrate as you rightfully bask in the glow of accomplishment. Whether it took you 4 years or 7, you made it. This is an incredible achievement in your life, one that is not reached by the majority of people around the world. Only 6.7% of people around the globe have a college degree, 1 in 15 people. You are now part of that elite group. Congratulations. I spent a few moments reflecting back on my own graduation ceremonies, and to be honest, I could barely remember who spoke or what they said. But what I distinctly remember is how I felt that day. I felt an incredible sense of accomplishment. And it's that feeling that I've carried with me over the years, and the knowledge that I could do anything. Because success builds confidence, which leads to more success. When you have the understanding that hard work can indeed reap rewards. And today, this defining moment is proof of that truth. You can do great things, but sometimes you may ask this question: what difference does it make? What difference can one person make? What's my life worth? To that, I say everything. Your life is worth everything, and the difference you can make can last for an eternity. I'm reminded of the words of Edward Everett Hale, the esteemed minister and historian who said, "I am only one, but I am one. I can't do everything, but I can do something. The something I ought to do, I can do, and by the grace of God, I will." This diploma certifies that you have done something and that you are prepared to do something. What that is for you to decide. Your life's calling will be as unique as each of you are, but never minimize the gift of the one life you've been given and the power you have to impact the world. I recall the recent World War II movie Hacksaw Ridge, which showcased the heroism of Corporal Desmond Doss, the first conscientious objector ever to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Doss was morally opposed to violence and the use of any weapon, but he was drafted into the Army in 1942 and wanted to serve his country. So he instead enlisted in the Army Medical Corps as a combat medic. Doss and his battalion were assigned to the U.S. invasion of Okinawa and ordered to assault and secure Hacksaw Ridge, a jagged 400-foot cliff overrun with Japanese soldiers. Showering Doss's battalion with mortar, artillery, and machine gun fire, the Japanese drove the majority of U.S. forces back down the face of the cliff, but dozens of casualties were left behind, wounded. Doss chose to remain behind, risking his own life to save his fellow soldiers. One by one, he dragged and carried his injured comrades to the edge of the cliff, roping them up and lowering them down to safety. By nightfall, he had managed to save 75 of his fellow soldiers. He was only one man, but the lives of his fellow soldiers rested on his shoulders, and his commitment to duty impacted many others. I want you to think on that for a moment, because here is an important truth. Much rests on you. Much has been entrusted to you. This degree confers to you not only the attainment of knowledge, but the responsibility to use that knowledge for a meaningful purpose. And the determination with which you pursue your path affects others and matters to others. It would be easy at this point to say, I've worked hard, I deserve a break. And for today, and maybe even tomorrow, I would say, relax and enjoy. But when the sun comes up on Monday, the rest of your life begins, and much is expected of you. Today signals a new beginning. What this diploma certifies is a future of exceptional opportunity, the power to pursue and create other defining moments. My hope is that today's graduation will be but one success in a life of great and significant milestones and successes. But I think I would be remiss if I didn't talk about the true meaning of success. There's the world's definition, and then there's the real definition. The world's definition has to do with the size of your house and your bank account. It has to do with titles and clothes, cars, jewelry, followers, and likes. But is that really the reason you were put on this earth? Is that what matters to your parents and grandparents, to the children you have today or may have in the future? What matters to them is that you're fulfilled in your life and present in theirs. I want to suggest to you that success is not defined by material possessions. Indeed, the saying is true, the most important things in life are not things. Keeping the great commands to love God and love your neighbor is where success in life is truly found. And if you're not doing both, you're probably doing neither. Many people are counting on you more than you may know. While it proved controversial at the time she said it, Barbara Bush was right when she stated, at the end of your life, you will never regret not having passed one more test, not winning one more verdict, or not closing one more deal. You will regret time not spent with a husband, a friend, a child, or a parent. She was right. And the test will come frequently in various forms. It may come when your boss has you busy on a project and a friend in trouble calls. You'll see their name pop up on your caller ID. Take the call. You may be asked to work late a third time that week, but your son or daughter has a game. Go to the game. The job will still be there. And if it's not, maybe it wasn't the right job. You may say to yourself you're working longer hours and neglecting your family for their good, but that's not true. That's something we tell ourselves to feel better about our choices. There is no substitute for you, and the time with the child or spouse can never be made up. So choose the people in your life. They are the ones who will carry your legacy of a life well lived long after you're gone. Speaking of legacies, few leaders offer a more inspiring legacy than Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In the face of unbelievable injustice, Dr. King set an example that changed our world. He was only one man, but he rose to the biggest challenge of his time and left a legacy and an example for us all. In what would be the final speech of his life on April 3rd, 1968, Dr. King boldly challenged our nation to live up to our own ideals, and how, if he were given the chance to live at any point in all of human history, he would not have left that moment. Because in spite of how difficult his struggle was, he could see hope unfolding. He told those in attendance that night that when people get caught up with that which is right and are willing to sacrifice for it, there is no stopping point short of victory. For Dr. King, the sacrifice proved enormous. The next day, he would be assassinated on his hotel balcony at 39 years old. And although he didn't get to see the full effect of his life's work, he left a legacy we can learn from and a better world to live in. Another point from Dr. King's life is worth mentioning. In spite of the hatred he was shown, he practiced forgiveness. We all hear the mantra these days, forgive but don't forget. And there is some wisdom to that saying, but there's also an important lesson that is even more important for a leader. And that is to show other people the grace you would want to receive when your flaws and mistakes are revealed. We all need it. We all need forgiveness. It's part of being human. Dr. King's life and actions matched his words as he famously said, "He who is devoid of the power to forgive is devoid of the power to love." The best leaders I've ever known had the capacity to blow a fuse from time to time, but they were also just as ready to forgive and move on. Part of forgiveness is not harboring prejudice or lording people's mistakes over them. Too often our motto is mercy for me and justice for you. We want people to judge us based on our best intentions, while we judge them based on their worst behavior. Let's do the opposite. Let's assume the other person has the best intentions until proven otherwise. And let's judge ourselves by our actual deeds, because that's what other people actually see. Grace can overcome a multitude of sins, and forgiveness does more to win a person over than 1,000 acts of charity. So be charitable with forgiveness. Love when it hurts to love. Extend grace to others as you would have others so freely give it to you. The French missionary Stephen Grillet understood this when he said, "I shall pass through this world but once. Any good, therefore, that I can do, or any kindness that I can show any human being, let me do it now. Let me not defer or neglect it, for I shall not pass this way again." Well, enough of my advice. There are degrees to confer, degrees that you have earned, and the faculty the administration, your families here today, not to mention this speaker, are exceptionally proud of you. Enjoy this moment. Carry it with you. It is an honor to call you fellow UHV alumni. Thank you.